Greetings, everyone, and welcome. We're going to hop in, and I have been inspired to conduct a Haitian Hoodoo reading, and we'll get some confirmation cards. So let's go ahead and see what the divine guides, the potentially ancestral realm, would like to say to you, to us, through what will come out in these cards. As always, if there's a particular situation that you are looking to glean information about, please write that down or text it to yourself so that if there are any signs, synchronicities, you see letters, names, terms, numbers, colors that align with what you have been seeing in your present reality, then we can go ahead and ensure together that what you are noting, what you're seeing, is a confirmation. As always, again, readings are for informational and entertainment purposes. Take what you connect with, leave what messages do not connect with you. And we're always looking for present energy and the manifestation of our highest timeline. So at the bottom of the deck, we have here fortune, abundance, and opportunity. So let's see what comes out, y'all. I'm excited. Divine Guide, thank you so much for what you have said. As the intention has been set, what would you like to say? Thank you for what has come out. What would you like to say? Thank you so much for what you have chosen to say. Is there more that you would like to say to us? Thank you so much. All right, we have 3 cards out. One slightly in the reverse here, but in the upright we have 11, wealth, value, and financial success. So that's beautiful. I'm glad that this is in the present energy for the collective. Then the second card to come out is this one in the reverse, significant woman, partner, person of interest. Okay, and this is in the reverse. And that is the number 2 card. So we have 11 and 2. Again, 1 plus 1 is 2. So potentially 2 2s out here. But if you don't want to claim this one, we have 2 1s, true new beginnings, and then the number 2 partnership card. And next we have employment, business, and trade. All right, so cannot ignore this numerical synchronicity that the divine guides have popped out for us automatically. We have 1 1, 2, and 3 4. So 1 2 3 4. Progression. You right now are experiencing the divine guides, the ancestral realm, from this Haitian Kipper Oracle deck, letting you know that wealth is here. The value for you and us acknowledging the value that you are in the cosmos, in this realm and space and time, is here. Your financial success is here. It's not about being a significant woman or a significant person. It's about what are you doing for employment? What is your business and business plan? And what is the trade that you are actively engaged in? And if you see here with our 2 cards that are in the upright, they're both together and their focal point is on the same set of items. Both of their focus is on the coins, their wealth, their success, their value that is displayed on the table in terms of currency. And these 2 here are both focused on the paperwork for their trade. All right. Now let's go ahead and hop into our Hoodoo tarot deck for any additional messages or confirmations. So have any of you been seeing the number 11 or 34? Maybe this significant partner has a child who is 34, but remember, it's something about this feminine energy that has come out in the reverse, and that's not you. This feminine energy that has come out in the reverse, this is another, I'm hearing card player in the background. This is someone who wants to get in on the business, someone who wants to be in your business, know what steps you're taking. And I'm hearing, this is none of their business. All right. One more shuffle, and we are continuing to fly on through. All right, divine guys, thank you so much for what you have said. Can we have a set of confirmation cards, or if there is additional energy that you would like to bring to light, please do. Thank you so much. All right, we have here and 2 in the reverse. Would you like to give us additional information? And I'm actually hearing put these 2 in between those 2. That's why I was working to create space. Thank you so much for that. What additional information, if any, would you like to relay? Thank you so much. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have courting. I'm going to flip these 2 over, and we have again in the reverse, the 4 of knives and the 5 of sticks. So let's get into this reversal energy from here, and specifically because these 2 landed in between those 2 or on those 2 and they were together, and these 2 landed specifically here. All right. With our Them Bones card, let us get an explanation on what this means. Okay, this is the card of judgment. So here is the Them Bones card, and this is the card of judgment. Scripture is John 7:24. Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. The plant is Carolina buckthorn. In this image, a woman puts her hand over her mouth in shock at what the bones on the table reveal to her. Meaning, divination using bones or dice. So that is what type of divination this is. It's the divination of using bones and dice. It was practiced by indigenous Americans and African people in early America. Divination with bones requires the reader to associate different meanings with each bone based on where and how they land. The bones of chickens and cats were the most commonly used, but other small, medium-sized animals were also acceptable. Contrary to popular belief, the choice of which animal to use was strictly up to each individual root worker. A set of them bones could include not only the remains of an animal, but also other items such as keys, seashells, and crystals. Like other forms of divination, all items in a reader's set had clear associations, but it's a reader's innate talent that determines accuracy. This appears in a reading when you're being reminded that it's time to focus on what you need rather than what you want. Most likely, you will have to make some tough choices, but if you're willing to put your ego aside and do what you have to do, the best possible outcome is guaranteed. This is reminding you that people are going to talk about you no matter what you do. So make sure that you remain in alignment with your goals, dreams, and aspirations, and acknowledge that no one escapes judgment, even if the judge is oneself. Okay? So, With it being in reverse, it's letting you know, hey, have no concern for this judgment. You have the relief and the solutions to your problems yourself. It's going to happen. People are going to talk about this success either way. That's why this success is not about you being the significant woman. It's about these cards, this reading coming out and letting you know, again, reminding you that people are going to talk no matter what. And you're going to set that and whatever the outcome is to the side and be willing to make these tough choices irregardless. Then we have our Seven of Knives. And again, Seven of Knives, like the Seven of Swords card, to give you the plant, is dogwood. So here's our image. Housewife cooking a meal for her husband. Before she serves it, she must remove all of the black cock feathers she placed in the soup to keep him faithful. It's a common practice for women to use menstrual blood and for men to use semen for the same purpose. Positive meaning, well, it's actually in the reverse. So the negative meanings is cheaters, thieves, spies, saboteurs, victimization, hidden agendas, conspiracies, betrayal, deception, con artists, liars, imposters, sneaking away, users, shameful secrets, dishonorable discharge, unethical behavior, and people who pretend to be your friend. So this is the current energy. Because of this success, these types of characters are in your life. And most importantly, again, because this is a singular woman, an individual woman, what do we have here? An individual woman, a key female figure right here at the forefront by herself. It is important for you, feminine energy, to pay attention to these types of people in your life and to ensure that you are not this type of person yourself. All right, we have our Five of Sticks. Let's go ahead and figure out what these wands is representing for us, specifically according to this divination practice. Five of Six is the Edelweiss, image of a teenager who looks cross at four of her peers talking maliciously behind her back. She will cross or jinx them later on. So again, further confirmation, these two especially are highlighting people talking about you. And maybe that's why you feel that you're not the significant woman because of all this negative talk. So here are the negative meanings because it came out in the reverse. Unnecessary drama, haters, trolls, failing to stand up for oneself, lack of competition, minor annoyances, embarrassing or uncomfortable situations, the devil in the details, grudges, being easily intimidated, and pretending things are okay when they are not. So, again, with this situation, be honest above all else with yourself. Make those tough choices. And regardless of the type of divination that you're going to for getting confirmation, your success is in the upright on the table. It is guaranteed. It does not matter the image that these individuals are trying to plant to present you as not being the significant woman. Also, juxtaposed against their efforts, you make sure that you are not ignoring the tough decisions, ignoring the devil in the details, being easily intimidated, and you rise above these minor annoyances, this competition, which is really not competition for you at all, these trolls, these haters, and you do what you're here for. And finally, let's wrap it up and come back in and make sure that we comprehend what these Four of Knives means from this here wonderful Hoodoo tarot card deck. Plant is the licorice root. This is a young man who decides to take a break from the hunt to rest for a moment. He knows that the probability of success is increased by doing so, by specifically taking a rest. The horseshoe he wears around his neck is for luck, and it helps too. Meaning, and it's in the reverse, exhaustion, detention, feeling burned out, enforced isolation, stagnation, restlessness, and refusal to slow down. So please pay attention to the signs and synchronicities. This could wear a person out for sure. Do not allow this time when you were supposed to be taking a rest and not paying attention to this unnecessary information and drama coming at you, to be a time where you allow yourself to feel burned out. When you self isolate, you become stagnant on moving towards your goals being accomplished, and not to do's but to done's list, and you're being restless. So make sure you slow down. All right, so these are all the things that potentially are keeping you as the woman in the reverse, the significant woman in the reverse. Okay, take it how it resonates. And then let us come now into our Sibyl's Oracle of Black Doves of Africa, or Oracle cards, and see what they want to say. We're going to wrap this up. Ooh, I see one card was left over here, or actually two cards were left on the side, and it was speed and lust. So I'm going to add these two back in and begin the shuffle. So this is a confirmation of something going on in your life. And again, this is our only masculine card in the middle. So maybe if you're like, well, this partner that you're talking about, this spouse, is not here yet. Potentially that was for the masculine energy. Why is there seeming success without this person? They might have heard this information. They might be in a place where they're supposed to be taking a rest and thinking for themselves, but they're not. They're trying to press through, and they don't see you as the significant woman. That could be their energy. It might not. But take it, leave it, remix it, however it suits your life. All right. What divine guides would you like to say with this last deck of cards? Thank you so much for what you have stated and for how you would choose to conclude this for the collective. All right. Ooh. I caught you. Thank you. Are there any final messages? And let's do that again because these were a little sticky. Any final messages, confirmations, or new information? Thank you so much for what you have chosen to say. Is there any new information or confirmation messages? All right. And so beautifully, amazingly, guess what has come out? The speed card, which was one of those two. So we have here speed. We have here questioning. And then this final card we have here is purpose. What are the things that you need to question about your life, about your present circumstances, especially as pertains to people, and who you need to cut out in order to be happy, that are preventing you from feeling, perceiving yourself as being the significant individual? Question everything. Why are you not resting? Why are you thinking these situations that are more likely than not in the past and not in this present moment with you while you are listening to this reading? Why are you thinking about these situations over and over again? And what is the energy that you are thinking about? And by thinking on it constantly, are you stirring it up to be potential future situations to come up again? You are at a crossroads with these two feathers. You need to realize what thing you need to float away, and then what needs to be the feather that you keep in your hand to use when it is time to use it. What is the thing to let float away? What is the thing to hold on to? And there, of course, are other questions, but please consider writing these questions down. Then next we have here the purpose card. up under the value and wealth and financial success. Ask yourself, I have said this before on the channel, and you can again use whatever search engine you want. I'm just going to name ChatGPT, ask it, what is a simple definition of purpose? These are the things that I'm interested in, my hobbies, my passions, the things that I like the most, that I would love to get up and do every day, and to be well compensated for it to finance my life and my needs and my wants. Create a purpose statement for me with this information. And of course, it has the microphone button on there. Speak it to it. Let it generate for you multiple options. And again, you can engage in editing it and adjusting it based on what it says. But make sure you have for yourself a purpose statement, a vision statement, values statements. What are your standards? What are your principles? And again, ask it to define those terms for you. But this is a key time where if you're feeling as if your wealth, your success, your value is scattered, there's an array of things that you could attribute purpose to. This is where you need to, I need to, we need to, those of us in the collective who resonate with this, just sit in the stillness and the silence and focus on comprehending what purpose is and deciding where our arrow, where we're going to fly off to. Because the sun is here. You do have a destination, but it looks like some of us are going to have to, like the direction of this bird, go back and do some reflecting. But this is still a positive card. It's in the upright. Your purpose is what brings the wealth. Because you are in purpose, you have the wealth, the financial success, and the value. And finally, here up under employment, speed, business, and trade, with this horse again, what is it doing? Like with the bird and with these wheels as well, moving in the same direction. So there's some speed on looking back at what have been your employment experiences. What was the purpose of being involved in those? Question those experiences with speed. Do not delay. Again, this is good speed. It's time for you to pause, reflect, and look back. And like how both sides of this crystal are two different colors, there are going to be some good lessons you realize that you learned. The purpose of me being there was to learn this, to answer a set of questions. Again, questioning is plural, not singular. And then the lessons I learned not to engage in are these. That was the purpose of that employment experience. Or what I learned from the types of individuals who talked about me, who made my experience there significantly difficult in order for me to not be perceived in the positive leadership light that I should have, which made my rest destructive, demonstrative, delayed, even dilapidated. All right. And now finally, let us wrap up with our Aboriginal totem cards. And let's see what our Aboriginal affirmative message is going to be. All right. Our message is responsibility. Become discriminate about the people you choose to help. There are too many people in your life who don't take responsibility for themselves and instead rely on you to sort it out for them. Responsibility. So the key takeaway here with this message is we are here in this lifetime with life for such a time as this to grow through questioning. This is our season, especially if you're here in the United States, where there is no limitation now on being able to pursue your passions, pursue the information, the educational information you need to be in the line of work that you desire to be in. That transition is possible. It takes asking the right questions, it takes planning and transitioning out of whatever the current form of employment is into what you want. But everything is achievable. And if you have been in the past, have displayed an ability to take responsibility for where you are and to in transition into being where you want to be, that's being in purpose, that's being in alignment, that's saying there is value in what is coming to me because I am in the line of purposeful actions and thinking and speaking and interactions that I should be in. Then you don't need to go to someone for divination, for confirmations about things your intuition is telling you. You don't need to consult them bones. You also don't need to engage in forms of divination where trickery is involved in deceit. And you're catching when people are doing that to you, when they come to work seemingly knowing information about you that you did not disclose to them specifically. It's because you're not in alignment with purpose with where you are at. When they come and seemingly want your man, want to know where you're sending your kids for childcare, what do you and your man do when you go out to eat? I thought I saw y'all out the other night. What did you do? What did y'all do this weekend? You're being